The playoffs are set, and it's going to be good. Hi, everyone. Scott Hansen here with your weekly recap for Week 18. Some big games to get to. We start in Buffalo. The Bills at home to take on the New York Jets. And this is fourth year back, James Cook. Trying to finish off the regular season in style. I'd say this qualifies. He is gone. From there, it's off to SoFi Stadium. We're looking on the Rams as they play host to the Arizona Cardinals. And this is the Arizona defense coming up big. They only had one takeaway on the afternoon, but it was an important one. The Cardinals will be a part of this year's playoffs. They get the victory here in the regular season finale. One more to tell you about real quick. It's up in Minneapolis. It's the Vikings taking on the Packers. And this is Malik Willis. He gets this one complete, 6-yard touchdown pass. The Packers finish the season 8-9. They get the victory in Week 18. Until next week, Scott Hansen, good night from Orlando.
Now that we've played our final game of the regular season in year one of this franchise rebuild, it is time to officially advance towards the playoffs. It's been a long time coming. It feels like it's been an eternity since we've been going through this franchise rebuild, but nonetheless, we are here. We fully anticipate having that number one seed, as the only team that could have contended with us was the Colts. You saw what we did to the Colts. So nothing new unlocked, and there you have it. As you can see, we are the number one seed. You can see the rebuild process in full effect, as when we started with the Jaguars, we were at about what, like a 75, 76 overall. Now we're at an 80. Taking a look at the playoff bracket, we are the number one seed over in the AFC. Giants are the number one seed in the NFC. Looking at the user teams in the AFC playoff side of the bracket, you have the Browns at number 2. You have the Bills at number 3. You have Colts at 6. Chiefs at 4, Ravens at 5. Over on the NFC side, you have the Seahawks at number 2. You have the Lions at 3, Packers at 6, Saints at 4, Cardinals at 5. So although the league isn't filled up with users, pretty much all of our users have made the playoffs. Nobody missed the playoffs, with one CPU team available in each side of the bracket. So it's going to be an interesting playoff run. I can't wait to see who beats who goes where, who does what, and who ultimately ends up meeting in the Super Bowl. Hopefully we are there. Taking a look at these weekly awards after that massive, monstrous performance. I say monstrous, but the Titans put up a little more than we like to have them put up against us, but nonetheless, we got it done on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. As you can see, AR 10 for 20 passing, 351 pass yards with 3 pass TDs, 1 pick, 1 sack, 20 carries for 232 yards, 5 rushing TDs. Then you had Amari Barno added 5 tackles, and 3 of those went for sacks. So an explosive performance on both sides of the ball. Look at Joe Milton's numbers. You can see that's why we've been going so hard with Anthony Richardson, because that's what we're competing against. Now we have this in the zone storyline we have to take a peek at real quick. Just wanted to reach out and talk about that goal we set back at midseason when I had the hot start. How are you feeling? On top of the world. I had an insane finish to the season. You definitely did. Everyone around the league is saying you're taking a huge step forward in your development. Of course he is. And just like we knew he would. That was an easy goal. What was it they asked for? I think the most difficult one was like 4,000 pass yards. That's so easy. That was so easy. So we're going to go ahead and get into this training. And I'll probably keep all of this training documented for this week because we don't have no game. So I'm going to need something to bolster this video and bolster the length of this video, should I say, for this week. So we're going to go ahead and continue with the guys that we've been working on developing all year, which is our offensive lineman and Anthony Richardson as well. So like I said, it's been an outstanding start to the year, and the development process has been A1. Like I said, you saw the rating. We're at an 80 overall. We're at an 80 on offense. We're at an 80 on defense. And no, that's not significant. It's not substantial, but it's a start given the fact that when we started and we traded away all our star guys and we were left with like mid-tier play, not even mid-tier players. A lot of our players were lower graded players, but like I said, I like to get the lower graded players that have the intangibles that I can use to develop them quick. And that's what we did. And you can see we have these guys up to an 80 already. I can't wait to see where we are in the offseason. Hell, it can be substantially higher. Good deal. We got gold, as we typically do. We don't settle for nothing less than gold. But like I said, I'm talking about seeing where we're at in the offseason and how we only made like a 4 or 5 point jump as a team overall. We still haven't fully upgraded our guys. We still have a lot of development points that we have to allocate towards each of our guys that we've been developing throughout the season. So it's a chance that by the time conference championship week comes, by the time the Super Bowl comes, because I normally don't actually upgrade those guys until conference championship week or Super Bowl week. So it's a chance that by the time I'm done upgrading those guys, we can have the team up to an 84, 85 overall before the Super Bowl. Now, that's if we make it to the Super Bowl, but whether we make it to the Super Bowl or not, we're still going to stick with the same time pattern of when we would typically upgrade our guys. And right now, we have a ton that need to be developed. I think the last I checked, Anthony Richardson had like 9 development points. I might have had 7 with Isaiah Bond. I don't know. We'll get through the training with Falele and Leighton Robinson as well as Anthony. I'm actually excited for this year to be over with. And the only reason is because I'm excited to develop the offensive line and the running backs. Like I mentioned so many times before, during this first season in many episodes, I've been focusing on the development of Anthony Richardson and our receiving core in year 1. Year 2 is going to be focusing on the development of the offensive line and running backs. And I really should have it the opposite way around, because if we have our offensive line developed, that would set us up proper to be able to develop the quarterback at a exponentially faster rate. But I like to start out my quarterback and my receivers first. So we've been doing that year 1 and it hasn't failed us. We only lost 1 game this season. As you can see, you can look at the statistics and check out the numbers. And we're quite high up there on that list. Anthony Richardson, top of the league as far as passing yards is concerned, and top 3 in the league as far as rush yards concerned. And looking at his final numbers, 6,054 yards passing on 57 touchdowns to 13 interceptions, 58% completion percentage. We want to clean that up going forward in years to come. We don't like having a poor completion percentage like that, but averaging 356.1 pass yards a game and averaging a 126.7 passer rating a game. Looking at the rush statistics, Anthony Richardson, 192 carries for 2,035 yards rushing and 36 TDs. And look at Basal Tootin. Even though we didn't focus on the run game like say so, he still ends up with 127 carries for 1,535 yards, averaging 12.1 yards a carry with 19 TDs. And then looking at the receiving core, we had BTJ finish with 60 catches for an astonishing 2,067 yards, averaging 34.5 yards a catch, averaging 121.6 yards a game on 19 TDs. Then you had Bond had 38 catches for 1,799 receiving yards with 18 TDs. And then Turpin wasn't far behind with 862 yards receiving. So we were getting it done with the entire receiving core, and Basal Tootin was getting in on it. Defensively, Isaiah Simmons finished with 21.5 sacks, Barno 21 sacks, Chapman 17, Williams 15, Hines Allen had 13.5, 13 for Atabare, Eugene Asante 6.5. Everybody was getting in on the action on the defensive side. As you can see, we ran those numbers up, those sack numbers up. Interceptions, you had Travis Hunter had 4, Forbes had 3, we had 2 with Simmons, we had 2 with Campbell. Everybody was getting busy. So like I said, offensively and defensively, as you can see with these end of season numbers, everybody was doing work. Let's see how many touchdowns we had defensively. So we just had that one. We had one with Emmanuel Forbes Jr. Led the league in offense, 9,918 yards of offense on a year. Defensively, we were ninth with 5,300 yards. We were first in points, 880 points scored on a year, and 11th in points allowed with 430. So taking a look at team totals, where we finished, we had 11,567 total yards. 9,918 of that was offense. 6,057 was passing. 3,861 was rushing. We averaged 51.8 points a game. We had 63 TDs passing to 60 TDs rushing. Passing, we finished second as the Giants finished first with 6,722 yards. We finished with 6,057. So they had the edge there. I fully anticipate that we led the league in rush yards. Rush yards, just like I imagined, we led the league there. 3,861 rush yards. Second was the Ravens with 3,416. Then you had the Bills at 3,015. Then the Cardinals followed that up there. Points per game, first in that category as well with 51.8 points per game. Passing TDs, we were second in that category. The Giants were actually first with 65 pass TDs. We were second with 63. The next closest would be the Chiefs with 54. After that, you would have the Seahawks with 51, and then the Lions with 49. I would imagine rushing wise, we would be up there. Yep. Rushing, we had 60 TDs. We led the league in that by a lot, by at least 20. First downs, we were not first in that category, but we were top 5 as we were fourth in the league in first downs with 365 there. So taking a look at the defensive side, we actually were not first for a change in this category. Instead, we were, what is that, 8th, 9th in the league? Oh yeah, we were 9th. It did show us at 9th. So we were in 9th in total defense. And as far as pass yards, I didn't even see us in that one. So I don't even think we were top 10. Matter of fact, I believe it said we were 11th in that category. So points allowed, we were top 10 in points allowed. Sacks, we definitely led the league in sacks by a lot, 130, and next up had 92. Next after that had 75. So our defense was lights out this year as far as getting after the quarterback. End of season awards. Let's go ahead and take a peek at these end of season awards. So far, Anthony Richardson is scheduled to finish with the MVP award and the Offensive Player of the Year award. Isaiah Simmons is scheduled to win Defensive Player of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year scheduled to be Bashal Tootin, with Isaiah Bond not far behind him. Defensive Rookie of the Year, we don't have anybody there. Best QB, AR. Best running back, Bashal Tootin, finished third. Again, if we focused on him, he would have finished first. BTJ and Isaiah Bond finishing 1 and 2 for best receiver. Cleveland finishing second for best offensive lineman. Amari Barno finishing first for best defensive lineman, with Elijah Chapman not far behind him. Isaiah Simmons finishing first for best linebacker, and best DB, we're not up there. Best kicker, we got Cam Little. So it looks like we're possibly bringing a lot of awards home, and this could spell for a lot of people getting elected to the Pro Bowl, but only time will tell. Taking a peek at the NFC side, you got Joe Milton scheduled to finish with Offensive Player of the Year, with Jahmyr Gibbs finishing second and Jaden Blue finishing third there. Defensive Player of the Year, you got Dominique Hampton on the Giants as well, finishing first there. Aiden Hutchinson finishing second, and Davenport finishing third, with Kirby Joseph finishing fourth. So they had a lot of guys there getting in on the action. Jaden Blue finishing first in Offensive Rookie of the Year on the NFC side, with Jalen Milroe finishing second. Then you got Jalen Walker for the Atlanta Falcons finishing first in Defensive Rookie of the Year standings, with Mikael Williams finishing second for the 49ers, and Donovan Ezaraku finishing third for the Cowboys. Look at that. Not a user-controlled team, but Donovan Ezaraku getting in on the action for the Dallas Cowboys. And best QB, of course, that's going to be Joe Milton the third. As you can see, we've been battling with him all throughout the year for this MVP award, and he is right there going neck and neck with Anthony Richardson, and proving why we had to go so hard with AR throughout the year. So he's finishing first for best QB in the NFC, with Jalen Milroe finishing second. Jahmyr Gibbs finishing first for best running back. Jaden Blue finishing second. Then best wide receiver will be Danny Gray for the Giants, with Horton finishing second for the Seahawks. Taylor Decker bringing home the best offensive lineman award. Aiden Hutchinson bringing home the best defensive lineman. Okereke finishing first in best linebacker. Then you got Kirby Joseph finishing first for best DB. Groupie finishing first for best kicker in the NFC. So we're going to go ahead and cut this video there. That's all we got for the bye week. There's no other action we really can get in besides checking out the awards, checking out our end of season statistics, so on and so forth. So next episode, we should be advancing to the divisional round of the playoffs. As always, if you're here for the first time or you return in and you haven't liked or subscribed already, please do so. Click that notification tab so you can stay up to speed with more of this Jaguars rebuild as well as other Madden 26 content. Again, I appreciate you all for tuning in. That's been my time. Till next time. Peace.